Yeah, packet. So we've got this mortar mixing packet here. We're going to take a peek at it. If you look at that first page, you've got the type M, S, N, and O mortar there. That's what we went over yesterday. The type N is kind of your universal mortar, the 1-to-1. And instead of listing M as 4-to-1, they're listing as 1-to-1/4. And the reason they're doing that is then they got the parts of sand listed there. It makes it a little bit easier for them to list the sand. But those ratios aren't necessarily what we use. If you look in the last 3 columns there, it says quantity per cubic foot of mortar. So if you look at it, bless you again. So if you look at it, it says, and one more time, cubic feet for type M, cubic feet of cement is 0.29, of lime is 0.07, and of sand is 0.87. Now, if you look at that, that does not add up to 1 cubic foot, does it? It actually adds up to 1.33 cubic feet. Well, how is that possible? Well, believe it or not, if you mix together those ingredients, you will get 1 cubic foot of mortar. What happens is because the particles in the cement and the lime are smaller than the particles in the sand, even though you have 0.87 cubic feet of sand sitting there, you can add that cement to it. It doesn't increase the volume much because the cement actually just creeps in between the gaps and the particles of the sand. So because there's large particles, there's actually gaps between them. And so that does add up to be 1 cubic foot, even though the numbers don't add up. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the next page there, page 92. On the top of the page, it is saying we want type N, and we need to mix 36 cubic feet of type N mortar. And it wants to know the bags of Portland cement. Well, 1 bag of Portland cement is 1 cubic foot. So that's really asking for is cubic feet of cement. Also, bags of hydrated lime, again, 1 bag is 1 cubic foot, so it's asking for cubic feet of lime. And then cubic yards of sand, so we're going to have to do a conversion there. So 36 cubic feet for type N. Well, for type N, the cement is 0.16. So we're going to take 36 times 0.16, gives us 5.76 cubic feet, or bags of cement. Now for type N, the lime is the same. Lime is also 0.16, so again it would be 36 times 0.16, which will, 0.16 is on the table on page 91. For type N, you follow it over, it says 0.16 cubic feet of lime for every cubic feet of mortar. So then it's also 0.16 for the lime, so that's also 5.76 cubic feet. Sand is 0.96. So we're going to do 0.96 times 36, or 36 times 0.96, either way. Gives us 34.56. But remember, this is cubic feet, and this is asking for sand, it's asking for cubic yards. So what do we have to do to the cubic feet? Divide by 27. 1.28 cubic yards of sand. So 5.76 cubic feet of each mortar of cement and lime, 1.28 yards, cubic yards of sand. So you should be able then to finish off 2 through 4 using that information. This next chart is giving us the number of bricks per square foot and then the amount of mortar per 1,000 bricks. So what we're looking at here is, let's say that we have a standard modular brick is 4 inches by 2 2/3 inches by 8 inches. Those are your standard brick. Let's see, do we have that one on here? Yeah, the very first one is 4 by 2 2/3 by 8. And let's say that we have a wall that's 9 feet high by 50 feet long. How many square feet is that wall going to be? 450 square feet. 9 times 50. So looking at that table on the bottom of page 92 and actually goes on to the top of page 93, we find the 4 by 2 2/3 by 8, which is actually the first one on that table up there. It says 675 brick per 100 square feet. The per 100 square feet is from the very top of the column, bricks per 100 square feet. So we now want to know how many per 450, so 450 goes here. You cross multiply and divide, so 675 times 450 divided by 100 gives us 3,037.5 bricks. Now, does this one ask for, yeah, saying add 25% for mortar. Total amount of mortar, and I guess it doesn't ask for bricks, waste on the bricks, but usually there'd be a 10% waste factor on the bricks as well, but it doesn't ask for that. It's saying a 25% waste factor on mortar. So anyway, we've got 3,037.5 bricks are going to be needed. Now to figure out how much mortar is needed, we continue on that chart. Let's say we were looking at a 3/8 inch mortar joint, which is pretty standard. A 3/8 inch mortar joint, looking at that same row on the chart, cubic feet of mortar per 1,000 bricks. It says for a 3/8 inch mortar joint, it takes 1.8 cubic feet of mortar per 1,000 bricks. So now we have 3,037.5 bricks that we're going to use. So we're now going to cross multiply and divide. 8.1 times 3,037.5 divided by 1,000. Gives us 24.6 cubic feet of mortar. Now, that's not going to be our answer because recall, it said a 25% waste factor. What do we do to that 24.6 cubic feet in order to add a 25% waste factor? 1.25. 1.25 is 125%. So times 1.25, you get 30.75 cubic feet of mortar. What do you think? Sure? That should really be all you need. From that, then, if it told you what type of mortar you're going to use, type M, N, O, or S, then you can go back now that you know the cubic feet of mortar. You can find how many cubic feet of lime, how many cubic feet of cement you need, how many cubic yards of sand. It's all right there. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn you guys loose to work on this one. You can work together. You can ask me questions or whatever. But we're going to end the recording right there.